Gente, vamos a tratar la peña. A tú. Voy a tratar.
Change your mind, Mr. Reid?
Yo le diría que sí. Hostia, ¿podemos ver la cámara? Hostia, ¿tú no lo sabías?
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself.
Vale, vale, vale.
You can.
Vamos para allá. Tengo que hablar con el chico. ¿Te acuerdas de la puerta que no podía entrar? Pues ahora puedo entrar. Bien.
Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure,
Claro, ya me dejaste antes.
sure. Even my dreams are so
Vale, vale, vale.
blue.
Vamos a hablar con este. Le damos otra.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reid. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Would it ease tensions with your father if he got an honest job? Because he tried, you know.
I can't say. I'd be glad if he dropped his thuggish activities, but I'm not sure it would be enough.
Why is that?
Sometimes I suspect it's me, Dr. Reid. Or it's this life. It's like I can't find my place.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Hard to pay, one way or another. You again? What do you want this time?
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe. I don't get sick.
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now, and people won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak, and there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reid. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes. Those bloody immigrants should know their place, eh? How dare they do a better job than the lazy natives of this land?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Esto de Pilar no entiendo por qué. Pilar. O sea, si me cargo todo esto kiski. Esto lo voy a tener jodido. Este hasta el próximo día no me lo puedo curar. Este no sé ni dónde está. Este es el Pilar. Este no sé cómo se da, Está tratados. Vamos a preguntarle.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever. Madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid. Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
You again? What do you want this time?
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
You survive at any cost, even at the expense of others. Perhaps that's just the law of nature.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
I should never have taken up my father's business. Fancy buying something, sir?
You never... What do you know of Harry Peterson? The boy seems so fragile. Not like his father at all.
Harry's a good boy, but he spends most of his time complaining. He's had it tough, all right, but he needs to grow a pair.
What troubles him exactly?
Well, despite being his father's son, almost everything, I think. He never wanted to come to Whitechapel in the first place. Hates this place more than most of us.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
You're late. Where's my... You again?
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Ya consigo más hablando con esta peña de experiencia. De lo que llevo hablando. De lo que llevo con aquel tipo. Me falta esperarme con él. Ahí está. Lo tengo que tratar también a este hombre.
Most of them don't speak
You look
English.
so pale.
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Chris claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
I'm cheap and I'm clean, I promise.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Buah. Este tío me cae mal. No hay relación. ¿Por qué no hay relación? Bueno, a un cura tampoco debería tener relación. No me fío de este ni de este.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital?
I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that nurse Crane you mentioned.
Los ingleses y su racismo.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Hostia. Qué comunista la cabrona. Esa que le tira no es comunista. Y ya sabe lo que pienso del comunismo. Nequilalo.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Una cabra.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Un pirómano que te flipa. Como una cabra, lo dicho.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Ya, le estamos sacando mierda que flipa.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself.
I have heard enough. Goodbye. Good evening, Mr. Whittaker.
It's Father Whittaker, my son. So...
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
all scientists are entangled in a world of cord.
Quite a judgmental opinion.
But you are seeking...
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition.
Tasca. Vale.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Hostia, había una zona que no pudimos pasar. ¿Por qué está ahí?
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Está como una cabra. Vamos a ver. Tenemos misiones que hacer entonces,
I've had
gente.
enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Vale. Ya sabemos que está muerto ya, Pues si recupera el cuerpo, significa que vivo no va a estar. Nosotros estuvimos ahí en el cementerio y no vimos a nadie. Mira, ¿aquí podemos entrar? No. Sí, por aquí sí. A ver. ¿Qué coño? Hostia, me la que hicieron día, los cabrones. O sea, yo que tenía esta parte aquí complicada. Vale. Parte nada. Cuarentena de gripe, no se acerca a esta zona por decreto de la Comisión de Salud. Esta es la original. Y aquí por ahora no podemos entrar. Esta foto ya la hemos visto. Tampoco. Hay gente aquí. Para charlar. Al lado del vampiro. ¿Quién es este hombre? Ah, este es el cementerio, ¿no es el enorme aquí que estaba allá? Es este, ¿no? El cuerpo.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Pues, con esta forma, niño, va a ser más rentable.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
I understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
Vale. Vale, me vale.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
Bueno, y gracias. O sea que este no va a ser. A lo mejor tengo que volver otra vez al cementerio de Otoño.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
Ya me ha pillado.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
Pues, típico de vampiro.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Amelia no era la vampira. Camelia. Camelia. La sangre desconocida. ¿Por qué? Porque es la vampira. Es vampiro, por eso dice que la sangre desconocida, ¿no? Ah, no, porque no la he descubierto. No, desconocido. A ver si tengo la imagen suya. Qué raro.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Creo que es la misma, ¿no?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Vale.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Pues este no es el tipejo que tengo que... Esta es la Camelia. A lo mejor no va a ser la tía que tengo que... Era un vampiro. Este es el rechazo de un editor. Hostia, esto es nuevo. Camden S de Londres. Estimado señor Nicteco, gracias por haber enviado su poemario Canciones desde una ciudad vencida. Pensamos que es tan interesante y profundo como la primera vez que nos lo envió. Le ruego que, dada la terrible circunstancia de la que enfrenta el país, entienda que su título es completamente inapropiado para una publicación. Por consiguiente, ante su negativa a cambiar el título y exigir la publicación completa de su trabajo, rechaza la colaboración. Lamento comunicar que la Psicofan Publishing se ha descartado por la segunda opción. Cordial saludo. Tan jodido. Vamos a ver. Ahora qué me va a decir.
Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
Aquí no tengo nada, ¿no? ¿Principio no? Aquí solo.
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Still, you don't seem to suffer from poverty.
With thanks to my parents, actually. I'm afraid I would not be able to live on my own without their help.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
Hostia, 3000. Este está al máximo ya, ¿eh? Este se puede ir a coser ya. Encima es 3. Porque faltaría cosillas.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Las misiones son de saber cosas, ¿eh? Este es el lado que no... por el que vinimos nosotros. O sea, que es el lado que no podíamos abrir. Ahora se abre aquí. La puerta está abierta. O sea que ahora ya... 3.000 y pico. Pues aquí hablando con la peña he conseguido 1.000 puntos, tío.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Pasará. Bueno.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
Vale, tampoco es de mucha palabra. Me gusta.
Tell me about Richard Nethercote. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Ni idea.
Very well. Goodbye then.
No sé si ha sido algo guay, ha sido algo raro.
Good evening, Mr. Nethercote.
And good evening.
A este ya no le puedo preguntar nada más, ¿no? No. Bueno, que lo que me dijo la muda tampoco me sirve. Vale. ¿Por qué se me cae la cámara así? Porque no lo tengo direccionado. ¿Te das cuenta que se me direcciona distinto cuando estoy en ese modo cuando estoy en el otro? ¿Se te puede entrar aquí? O los vampiros no pueden entrar a la iglesia. En principio no debería entrar a la iglesia. Siendo un vampiro y siendo una zona sagrada. Si fuese un sitio sagrado, es como alguna de película. Buah. Voy a mejorar mi armamentote. Por aquí era, no, por aquí no era. Por aquí era, por aquí no era. Por aquí por donde vine. Vale, bueno, por aquí puedo ir también. Al refugio, lo tengo encima. Qué pena lo de... Bueno, sí, este juego tiene lo que tiene. Este juego tiene lo que tiene, gente. A veces sí y a veces no. Vale, por aquí recorrimos la parte de abajo, ¿o no? No, aquí no había parte de abajo. La parte de abajo está por el otro lado. ¿Qué sería? Y por aquí abajo. Y... Hostia, tiene... Vale. Pues me voy a las llosas. Reviso de esta zona. Esta puerta no la pude abrir antes. Y esta no. ¿Esta se puede abrir? Pues no me acuerdo, gente. Este es un punto de interés bastante importante. Estos son puntos de interés bastante... Voy a mejorar, creo que con lo que compré tengo para mejorarme el arma. Vamos para allá. ¿Por dónde era? Interesante, ¿puedo abrir aquí? Ah, no, solo puedo tocar.
There's no one in.
Está vacía.
Nobody at home.
Qué extraño.
I cannot enter.
Muy extraño, gente. No tengo que entrar por el otro lado. Curioso. Uy, desconocida. Chala. Esto no ve dónde me llegan las cosas, niño.
It's locked.
Esto de que estén las cosas cerradas, a mí me tocará un poco la nariz, Pero aquí puedo ir. Nivel 8 nada más, ¿no? Bajo nivel. Para tochito que estoy yo ya. Vale. Esta zona ya no es una zona de tránsito, por lo que se ve. No. Vamos a mejorarme el arma entonces. Y hablamos con la señora. Me quito los vampirites. ¿Puedo ver el nivel desde aquí? Vamos para allá. Nivel 8. Nivel 12. Vale, aquí vendré cuando me haya mejorado el arma. No me voy a mejorar el arma, gente. Pero para eso voy a ir a hablar con este hombre, con esta mujer. Y luego ya seguimos con la yayara. Bueno, no puedo venir por aquí ni por allí. ¿Quién será?
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reid, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reid.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
You look ill, Miss Swanborough. I wonder if your concoction will do the trick.
I'm perfectly fine, thanks to my miraculous elixir. You, on the other hand, look pale and tired, Doctor.
Siempre me equivoco, niño de letra.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Ahora no caigo quién es.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Mate más o menos bien. Es lo que menos tengo. Nada, estoy más o menos bien. De esto por lo menos estoy más o menos bien. Puedo vender esto. Vale, aquí hemos terminado, gente. Ahora me voy a explorar esto y luego ya se grabará. ¿Por dónde era? Por aquí, ¿no? Pero aún así no voy a subir, me guardo automático, ¿vale? Vale. Voy a hacerme... Sin arma me voy a mejorar esta arma. Vale, no solo compré a este hombre. Creo que se había comprado 3 de azules. Bueno, nada, esta va a ser.
Here we go.